This is Markin Out. Pro Wrestling Talk by Pro Wrestling fans. We marking out, y'all. Follow on Twitter. Pro Wrestling Talk by Pro Wrestling fans. We marking out, y'all. Marking Out. Pro Wrestling Talk by Pro Wrestling fans. We marking out, y'all. Brennan likes fisting. Pro Wrestling Talk by Pro Wrestling fans. We marking out, y'all. We're marking out. Pro Wrestling Talk by Pro Wrestling fans.
Welcome to Markin Out, Pro Wrestling Talk by Pro Wrestling fans. This is episode 770. Thanks for listening. Make sure that you give us a 5-star rating to go with that 5-star frog splash wherever you are listening to our podcast, such as on Spotify. I want to see us on your Spotify playlist at the end of the year. Also, buy a t-shirt over at prowrestlingtees.com/markinout. Give us a like on Facebook. Give us a follow on Twitter at Markin Out. On TikTok at Markin Out. On Instagram at Markin Out 11. You can follow me, myself, and I all over the social media platforms at David PTDPT. You can follow Chris at CMSweeney85 on Instagram and Chris Sweendog on Twitter. And you can follow Brandon at BTTG161. Brandon, how are you?
I am doing awesome as always. How about yourself?
I am doing fantastic. You know how it is. What'd you do this week?
One trick-or-treater.
Only one.
One. And you're in an apartment gimmick, so what'd you get, 0?
I got a big old 0.
I will say I tried the monster cereals. You ever have those as a kid?
Like Count Dracula?
Count Chocula, actually.
I had those like many moons ago.
So I tried them. Count Chocula, I feel like is just like every other chocolate cereal, except it has the marshmallow gimmicks in it. Mm-hmm. All 3 of them had the marshmallow gimmicks, but Boo Berry sucked. That was pointless. Frankenberry, I thought was probably the I don't even want to say the best when it comes to these. I feel like it took me too long to try it. They probably tasted much better when we were kids, or when I was a kid, when you were a grown adult, but...
Mm-hmm. I was always already getting ready to retire at that time.
Did you like it as a kid?
No, I was more of a Lucky Charms fan.
Yeah, Lucky Charms was always good. But I don't have anything against the flavored cereals like that. Because it kind of reminded me of Kix a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I was probably too old trying it for the first time.
I don't know. Now I won't. I try to avoid those now because of all the artificial flavors and stuff like that they have in them.
Yeah, I was reading the ingredients. I thought they did away with that stuff already, but that's not the case yet.
No, a lot of
happening. It has to happen soon, doesn't it? Aren't they getting rid of that?
As long as politicians make money off of it, it's not.
No, I think they got rid of the red dye. They have to get rid of it soon.
Yeah,
I think some companies already announced that they're changing their formulas because of that.
I hope so.
We'll see what happens. But how was your week?
My week was good. It was relaxing. It's been very, very busy. Very, very busy. You know?
Yeah.
But let's get on to Saturday night. Main event.
That's Saturday night's main event.
I mean, it could be Saturday nights, but it was just one night.
But this was a different episode than we've had in the past. It was exclusively on Peacock, so thank God there were no commercials. Well, there were commercials. Thank God there were no commercials during the matches. Because that was absolutely dreadful watching Saturday night's main event and having commercials aired during matches. It took away so much from the actual matches themselves. This one, we didn't get that. We also did not have any classic legends for this episode. That was quite surprising.
That's very interesting.
And this was just 4 straight-up matches. We had the first match, Cody Rhodes picked up the victory over Drew McIntyre to retain the WWE Championship. If Cody Rhodes was disqualified, if Cody Rhodes was counted out, Drew McIntyre would walk out as WWE Champion, and that came into play throughout this whole match.
Yeah, it was very interesting how this kept on coming up during the entire match, and they keep on teasing, giving us very glimpses of teases that Cody Rhodes is maybe turning to the dark side a little.
At one point in this match, Drew McIntyre grabbed the title. Cody grabbed it from him, and then the referee got the title, and Cody ate a Claymore, but he kicked out of that Claymore. Drew McIntyre attempted that Claymore through the commentary table, but Cody ended up stopping that. He ends up flying off the apron through the commentary table. Cody Rhodes gets back in. He ducks a Claymore, goes for a Cody cutter, ends up tweaking his knee. And they showed a replay, and then they cut back into midair of Cody doing the Cody cutter. I don't know how that happened. I thought that knee tweak was going to come like more into play there. But they came back from that, and then the referee ends up down, which allowed for the WWE Championship to be brought back into the ring. And to end the match, Cody Rhodes, the commentator's like, oh, I don't know if he actually saw it. If I'm not mistaken, that's what commentary said, something like that. Cody DDT Drew McIntyre onto the WWE Championship. He hit the crossroads, gets the victory over Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre rightfully should be very pissed off. He was screwed. Cody Rhodes used the title.
He did. He did use the championship, and once again, Drew McIntyre is screwed. I hope at some point he has to have his justice for Drew. And he has to, and I think it's all going to culminate when it could end up being kind of like a double turn where Cody continues to do heel tactics, and then Drew just finally gets his victory over it. I think everybody wants to see that happen.
It's going to be difficult to see Cody as a heel, though.
I mean, I totally forgot how he was as a heel, so I went back to watch some of his stuff from Ring of Honor. Huh?
I said, well.
Yeah, I watched some of his stuff from like Ring of Honor and everything like that, and he's pretty good as like the heel.
There were two sides of his heel characters, because there's like the fun, goofy heel version of Cody, but then there's also, well, we've seen heel Cody in WWE. That version of heel Cody, for the most part, that was fine. The last time we saw him as a heel in AEW, though, was just...
Yeah.
Which he wasn't like...
I'd be okay with it, but...
Am I a heel? Am I a face? That was garbage. That was trash.
Yeah, I want to see full-fledged heel Cody, though. And I want to see full-fledged heel Cody. What happens if Cody joins the Vision? And then Seth returns.
0 sense. Makes 0 sense.
But then, I mean...
Not even on the same show. Face. That doesn't make sense. Come on.
All right, that doesn't make sense at all. Different show. But something that did make sense was Jade Cargill picked up the victory over Tiffany Stratton to become the new women's champion. This is her first women's championship within the WWE. Incredible.
Singles title.
Yeah, singles title. Incredible to see Jade Cargill get this opportunity.
Nick Aldis, before the match, checked on Tiffany Stratton to make sure she's good to go for it. And she said yes, but that knee came into play right off the bat. Tiffany Stratton had a small little comeback with that swanton, but Jade Cargill controlled most of this match. Tiffany Stratton, I think she comes off great kicking out of all the moves that she kicked out of, but Jade finally hit Jaded, got the victory. This was a predominantly a powerful, dominant side of Jade Cargill that we have not seen in WWE, and this is what we need to be seeing from Jade. So I hope we get a lengthy run with matches that they show her dominance. It's not completely like one-sided or nothing, but we need more matches like that for Jade Cargill. And I have to give it up to Tiffany Stratton. She had an excellent championship reign.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that it would be great to see her have a powerful title reign right now. You know, it doesn't have to be a full year, but it would be nice to see her have a long
Honestly,
reign.
I feel like they could break her AEW reign.
Okay, so you would do that right now?
Why not? There's why not? No reason not to. Because if she doesn't do it now, now is when we see how dominant she is.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, no, you're right that it would have to be done now.
So after we saw Dominic Mysterio pick up the victory over Rusev and Penta to retain the Intercontinental Championship. Honestly, it was a pretty even match between the three of them. Dom tried the Eddie Guerrero chair trick with Rusev, and the referee told him there's no DQs, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. Which fits Dominic's.
IWC won't agree with you on that.
You didn't see what?
IWC won't agree with you on that one. I was seeing that. Huh?
I didn't see them complaining.
Oh, I saw complaints about Dirty Dom trying to toss the chair, and that was just not making any sense to me that people were not catching on to that.
I think that fits his character perfectly to be like, oh, right, there's no DQ.
I agree with you. That was a great spot for him.
The Penta driver on Rusev could have easily been the finish of this match, which I don't know if I wouldn't have been I would have been happy that Penta was champion, but I wouldn't have been super satisfied because I still have hopes of John Cena taking that title from Dominic. But the ending of this match, another great moment of it, where Rusev had the accolade locked in on Penta. Dominic rings the bell. Rusev thinks he wins. He lets go of the hold. Yeah, that was fantastic. And Rusev thought he won. Dom brought the hammer into the ring, which Penta eventually tried to, or not tried to. He ends up using it on Rusev got hit. So that knocked Rusev down. Dominic sent Penta out of the ring. He hit the frog splash on Rusev, gets the victory there. That was like the perfect way to end that match.
I agree with you. I thought that was a very good way to end this matchup. You know,
it
was just a lot of fun.
You had a video error for John Cena. John Cena, by the way, made an unscheduled, in quotes, maybe appearance from SmackDown last week to wish Stu a happy birthday. Do these unscheduled appearances count as part of the tour?
Because he wasn't there in person.
Yeah, that's true. But, I don't even know if... he got a t-shirt for it, so never mind. I was going to say, I don't know if Fanatics Fest necessarily counts towards the tour, but he did have a shirt for it. But it's not one of the dates. But John Cena had a video package air about him talking about his final opponent. I thought it was a great video. It announced a 16-man tournament from Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and some not from WWE, which the internet... Oh my God, they're teasing Chris Jericho and Edge! Where? Where are they teasing Chris Jericho and Edge? You're a dummy. You're a moron if you're jumping to that. Jump to Matt Cardona. Don't jump to Edge. He's signed to AEW.
Yeah.
Jump to Joe Hendry.
Great. Yeah. To go to Edge and stuff like that. If they didn't let, Sting, go to the Hall of Fame induction for Lex Luger, you think that they're going to let Edge go to this for John Cena?
I don't think they asked. I think that story was they didn't ask Sting to go. But on Monday Night Raw, we found out that the Last Time Is Now tournament will have Rusev versus Damian Priest, Sheamus versus Shinsuke Nakamura. I'll put a pin in that for now, because more will be announced on SmackDown. Main event.
Is there anybody that you think would be... Who is somebody that you think would be a surprise? Aside of, like, Joe Hendry, like you mentioned. Is there anybody that
None will be a surprise. And did you just pronounce his name like Jordan Grace?
Is it not Joe Hendry?
Yeah, but I could swear you said Henry there. Maybe I misheard.
No, Joe Hendry.
I honestly think it has to be Joe Hendry, Matt Cardona. I would like to see somebody like Vikingo or something like that.
Okay.
I don't know who else I forget who I tweeted.
It would be
I had
nice.
specific.
It would be cool to see Cardona in there. We should start tweeting that out there. Get in their ears.
I'm sure, like, if they're doing this and they're saying, and some people who may not even be from this company, I feel like there has to be at least 4 names from outside of WWE, and I feel like Matt Cardona will probably be on that Madison Square Garden show.
I got a name for you that hasn't been brought up, but could fit the bill. What about Dolph Ziggler?
I saw people bringing him up as well, so...
I feel like...
roasted.
I think that Ziggler could be a good fit for in there. That would be
there's been enough history between Dolph Ziggler, Nick Nemeth, and John Cena that he would 100% be fitting. He'd be fitting for this. I don't know, that sounded weird to me.
My fantasy booking list is too far out there. I sent you. I'm like, Kurt Angle. I think Kurt Angle would be a great last match for John Cena.
You said Undertaker. Yeah,
I said Undertaker, Kurt Angle, HBK.
It wouldn't make any sense. The last match is going to be Gunther. I'd be shocked if it wasn't.
Okay, so if it's Gunther, I think it's going to be Gunther too. Do you think Gunther's going over?
Hopefully,
you have John
wins
Cena
the Intercontinental Championship.
Match?
I hope that's the outcome.
Well, one more time, I couldn't
wins
hear you.
The Intercontinental Championship.
Okay, so you think that? So that means that you think that John Cena is going to face Dirty Dom?
I think that has to happen. I mean, not to cut ahead to Monday Night Raw right now, but after that segment with Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio, it's tough to see that not taking place at Survivor Series. Maybe we'll see it at Madison Square Garden. First title won at Madison Square Garden was the U.S. Championship. Last title won at Madison Square Garden of his career. First title of his career, last title of his career. Could both happen at Madison Square Garden. Could be John Cena taking that title from Dominic at MSG.
That would be cool for John Cena to do that, to become the Grand Slam champ. And
coincidentally, the last match that John Cena had right now at Madison Square Garden, he teamed up with Dominic Mysterio.
That's interesting. And I could see Gunther being put over in his last match. I feel like John Cena is one of those wrestlers that he would put him over.
Yeah.
But main event of the evening, we had CM Punk pick up the victory over Jey Uso to become the new World Heavyweight Champion. This was back and forth.
It was fine.
It
was nothing crazy to me.
Yeah.
At one point, CM Punk hit the GTS. Jay fell outside. So CM Punk dumped a bunch of water on him. And then Jay woke up. He ends up spearing CM Punk. He hits the Uso splash, which I expected CM Punk to move out of, but he did. He ends up kicking out instead. We got a barricade spot with Jay spearing Punk through it. Punk ends up getting his knees up for another Uso splash. He hit the GTS. Jay kicks out of that. Jay then hit his own GTS, which I thought looked great. And then Punk hit one of the worst spears I've ever seen onto Jay. CM Punk hit another GTS. Jay landed on CM Punk, but Punk couldn't get him up. I thought that was a really good... I don't know if that was part of like the psychology, the aspect of the match, or if he actually like just couldn't get him up, but I thought that was a good spot there. And Jay ends up locking CM Punk in a sleeper. That's how he won the World Heavyweight Championship. That was reversed into an Anaconda Vice. And then Jay hit a bunch of super kicks. He got kneed when he went for another spear. CM Punk hit another GTS, which was rebounded, landed on his shoulders, hit another GTS, 1, 2, 3, new champion. And then everyone was like, LA Knight is in the doghouse. He held up a sign on Raw the other week. LA Knight's in the doghouse. He wasn't on Saturday Night's main event. He wasn't in the match. He wasn't on Monday Night Raw. I would have much rather preferred for LA Knight to be champion there, but I'm fine with CM Punk.
Why would he be in the doghouse?
Well, because he held up a sign saying that, I forget what the exact sign said.
I saw that one.
Yeah.
Stupid. Mm-hmm. I saw that stupid stuff. Yeah, he's not in the doghouse. I do think that one spot is getting a little bit old. The GTS into the ropes rebound GTS.
I feel like we've only had like, I'm on the fence about that. We've had it.
We have
maybe a handful of times at this point.
I do think that we shouldn't do it again for a little bit, though.
No. You don't want to overuse something like that. That's just like the freaking barricade spot. Stop freaking doing it. But I'm fine with this CM Punk being champion. I don't know where this is going to lead to. Like right away, it gets set up for WarGames. So. Mm-hmm. But that was Saturday night's main event. Moving over to Monday Night Raw, which kicked off with CM Punk. Punk's entrance, pretty similar to Jay's last week, where it was almost 10 minutes. I think it was maybe like 7 or 8 minutes before he said anything. But he thanked AJ Lee. He thanked the fans. He thanked Jey Uso. And he mentioned Seth Rollins not being there this time to cash in. He mentioned the Vision. He brought up AJ Styles, Dominic Mysterio, JD McDonough, Finn Balor, Sheamus, John Cena as well. All names that could wrestle for that championship, who deserve to wrestle for that championship. Anybody who's earned it or deserves it, get in line. And then, hilariously, Logan Paul showed up. I thought that was absolutely hilarious. CM Punk told him, go to SmackDown, go answer Ilya Dragunov's open challenge. And Logan Paul named a bunch of names that he's already been in the ring with and said that he's earned a shot. Then the Vision showed up, and Paul Heyman said the front of the line is Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. He tried to make Logan Paul leave. Logan Paul wasn't leaving. And Braun Breaker threatened both of them. CM Punk said Logan Paul's either fighting with him or he's getting out of the ring. Logan Paul tried to leave. He got out of the ring. Braun Breaker pushed him down. The Vision jumped Punk. And Logan Paul actually got into the ring to fight with them. Got a little pop at that as well. The fans popped. A little tiny pop. But they took him down. He ate a tsunami. CM Punk came back with a chair, and they went scrambling. I'll put a pin in that. Jey Uso spoke to CM Punk later on and said that his heart is telling him to help CM Punk. And Punk questioned whether or not he could trust him. Jay said yes. Paul Heyman also spoke to Jey Uso and I guess kind of planted seeds of doubt in his head. We saw the Judgment Day pick up the victory over Stephanie Vaquer and Nikki Bella. I like that Nikki was matching to Stephanie Vaquer. I like when tag teams match. They also had a double team move at least with a taunt. They did the double the crossbody off of the apron. I like that. I would have liked for the Judgment Day to hold the ring more when Nikki was in, but once Stephanie Vaquer got tagged in again, she took over. But eventually, Roxanne Perez hit Pop Rocks on Nikki again to get that victory. That was unexpected to me. I went into this thinking Stephanie Vaquer and Nikki Bella were walking out winners. Raquel off of this match gets a title shot. I don't fully understand that. But that should be interesting because Stephanie Vaquer, she couldn't in this match get the SVB on her. And I like that tease. I assume they're going to show that next week with the struggle, and she'll eventually hit it to win the match. But Nikki Bella later on apologized to Stephanie, and she was like, it's fine. You paved the way. And Nikki was she had a lot of doubts in her head. She doesn't think it, doesn't know why she's here. But Stephanie Vaquer, she hyped her up. And Nikki will be in her corner next week. I assume it has to lead to a turn eventually. I don't know. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. We saw Penta pick up the victory over El Grande Americano. I thought this was a very entertaining match. I think Ludwig Kaiser is so good and perfect in this role to the point where I don't know what'll happen once Chad Gable's back. Los Americanos got involved. The referee kicked Bravo from ringside. Rayo tried to help, or did help El Grande Americano load his mask. Penta avoided it, and then Rayo got kicked out. Penta dove onto him. He also caught El Grande Americano with a kick mid-headbutt, mid-air. Hit the Destroyer, got the victory off of that. Immediately, Los Americanos tried to take him down afterwards. He ends up escaping. After that, we had a segment with Dominic Mysterio. He put himself over. And then Rey Mysterio returned. He questioned him about being the greatest luchador of all time. He mentioned El Santo, Blue Demon, Eddie Guerrero. And Dom was like, keep my dad's name out of your mouth, which I thought was funny. And he said that he's better than all of them. He said that he's better than Rey Mysterio. This led to them fighting, and it sounded like Rey Mysterio's going to be retiring at Survivor Series or something. Nothing was set up, but I don't know how it doesn't lead to that. I was having John Cena versus Dominic Mysterio at Survivor Series. I don't know. I can't fathom this not being Rey versus Dom at that point. It seemed perfectly set up for a retirement match for Rey, and I'm not ready for that. At all. But backstage, Dominic was pissed off about that, and Finn Balor was pissed off that Dom didn't ask them to be out there with him. So that causes further tension in the Judgment Day. Becky Lynch came out, showed up from the crowd, yelled about Jessica Carr and Adam Pearce. She yelled about Maxine and said that she doesn't belong in the business. And said that the next time they're in the ring, one wrong move, it'll be her last. The Kabuki Warriors came out for their match. They stared Becky Lynch down. I thought that was interesting. In a perfect world, Maxine would be Intercontinental Champion. Don't see that happening at all. I think if they do a third match, AJ Lee will eventually make her way back to TV in that segment. You had the Kabuki Warriors pick up the victory over Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. Lyra was worried about Bayley not wanting to talk about last week, but Bayley assured Lyra that she's good, or that they're good. And I like this match. When Lyra tagged Bayley in, Asuka tagged out. So there was like a little bit of that, not cat and mouse, but whatever you would call that scenario. But Bayley had some really nice pin attempts throughout this match. The Asuka not wanting to face Bayley was the whole match. Eventually, Bayley stopped the Kabuki Warriors from hitting their double team move. And before Bayley could jump off the apron onto Kairi, Asuka pushed Lyra into Bayley to knock her off the apron. Lyra then went to jump onto Asuka, but landed into an Asuka lock. For a moment, I thought the Kabuki Warriors were going to lose there. A tiny moment. And I don't think that would have been right to me. I think the Kabuki Warriors needed that victory. I thought this was a well done match. The tag team champions ran down afterwards before the Kabuki Warriors could attack Lyra Valkyria. They took off running. You had AJ Lee pick up the victory over the Judgment Day to retain. Roxanne Perez suggested that Dom go to the ring to support the Judgment Day, and he did eventually show up. And I thought when AJ Styles and JD McDonough were getting tagged in, that Dom would have gotten up to distract the referee from the tag. But it was after AJ Styles dropkicked Dominic that he did that. Finn Balor got up for a coup de grace. But in that moment when Dominic was distracting the referee, he pulls his body all the way onto the other side of the corner. So the referee is now fully turned, fully away from the coup de grace. That perfectly done. Perfectly done. But Finn Balor accidentally hit JD McDonough with the coup de grace. And then Finn Balor got sent into Dominic to knock him off the apron. Balor had Dom go to the other corner to hit AJ with the title. The referee caught him, went to kick him from ringside, but Sheamus showed up and took him out. Finn Balor used the shillelagh, but Dragon Lee broke that up at the very, very last second. And eventually AJ reversed JD into a Styles Clash. Super chaotic ending. And then the main event, we saw CM Punk and Jey Uso versus The Vision end in a double countout. I really didn't care about this match. I think it was interesting to see The Vision use a shatter machine in this match. But the crowd going absolutely wild for Jey Uso. In the end, all four of them were brawling outside, and that led to the double countout. Braun Breaker ends up spearing Jey Uso when he and Punk went to put Bronson Reed through the commentary table. They temporarily took CM Punk out. Braun Breaker hit Jey with another spear. He hit a tsunami on Jey. Bronson Reed did. And then CM Punk got back in with a chair. The Vision grabbed chairs. And then one of the most unexpected things, Logan Paul shows up with the brass knucks. It looks like he's there to help CM Punk. Knocks CM Punk out. Hands the brass knucks to Paul Heyman. Is he in the Vision? Is he not in the Vision? It's a clear path to WarGames. I thought it was perfectly done. The IWC complained. I thought this was great. Absolutely great. So that is Monday Night Raw. Moving over to NXT. It opened up with Fatal Influence picking up the victory over the Culling and Lola Vice. A few of the spots were off. It was chaotic at times, but eventually it broke down into the move spot, which didn't lead to the end right away. But I hated the ending. Izzy tagged herself in. She ate the rolling encore from JC for Tatum. I liked that aspect, but I just didn't understand why she tagged herself in that moment. I didn't get that. But I liked her eating the thing for Tatum. I just wish the champion, I should say, won the match. JC later on asked Ava for a title shot at Madison Square Garden. She didn't answer her. Tatum Paxley, on the other hand, was blaming herself for losing, but Izzy stopped her from feeling down. She also said that Tatum can't hand out title shots, which Tatum agreed, but then she was like, wait, I have one more thing to do. Don't know what that's going to turn into. We shall see next week. You had Kalani Jordan, which, by the way, they aired a video of Lei Ying Lee, who was pissed off at Kalani Jordan for cheating against Jordan Grace last week. But Kalani ends up questioning why the crowd cheers for Dominic when he does the stuff she does. When Cody used the championship, why do they cheer? Very bold of her to bring up Cody Rhodes in that promo. But she also brought up Lola Vice going to AAA and everybody loving it. They just hate that she's doing it with TNA. And she also said there's no woman in NXT or TNA for her to defend the title at Madison Square Garden. So she'll just sit at home. It wasn't the best heel promo, but it was a good first attempt. I think she'll have to grow into that voice. But later on, Ava spoke to Kalani Jordan. Tyra May Steele stepped in, and Ava made that a match. And then later on, we saw Kalani Jordan pick up the victory over Tyra May Steele. Kalani tried to cheat throughout the match. I think this was more so a good showcase match for Tyra May Steele. But no way was Kalani Jordan losing this match. Santino appeared on the screen and announced that she's going to be defending the title at Gold Rush against Lei Ying Lee and Jordan Grace. So even though Kalani Jordan thought she was sitting home at Madison Square Garden while they're at MSG, I should say, she's having a triple threat match now. I think that's awesome. We had El Grande Americano pick up the victory over Josh Briggs. This stemmed from a backstage segment. Jasper Troy showed up during this, and I thought there was a random chain sound coming from my house, and then I was like, wait, it must be Jasper Troy somewhere on TV. And then they showed Jasper Troy. I thought that was really funny. But the crowd hates Josh Briggs, so El Grande Americano was cheered here. A little bit. I feel like he was booed also. but they cheered when they tried to unmask, when Josh Briggs tried to unmask him. Tavion Heights showed up, which allowed for Los Americanos to do the double backstabber to Josh Briggs. And then El Grande Americano locked Josh Briggs in a submission to win. A bit of a chaotic ending there. And then you move on. Ricky Saints and Trick Williams have this sit-down, separated interview. And Ricky Saints said that Trick couldn't accept that he lost the match that he got for free. And Trick said that Ricky Saints still doesn't know how to carry the brand. He also said that Saints looks like a fan and should go get his title from WWE Shop. I thought that was a great line, a hilarious line, but it led to them brawling. They were split up for a reason. I don't know how they were allowed to get to one another. Trick ends up smacking Ricky Saints with a pipe. So, and then they have their match next week. You had Zarya pick up the victory over Ren Sinclair to advance in the speed tournament. I really would have liked to have seen Ren advance here, especially since Kendall Gray just beat Lash Legend to retain the Evolve Championship last week and then join the Ren QCC. But every match of Ren's seems so unique. It's just unfortunate that I went into this kind of knowing or thinking that Zarya wasn't losing this match. Sol Ruka, we found out, might be medically cleared to face Blake Monroe at Madison Square Garden. Blake Monroe said we'll see her better half next week. I don't know what that'll turn into. There's speculation about who it could be. Maybe somebody from Stardom, maybe not. Maybe somebody from her history. Some are saying it's just going to be her reflection. All are good guesses, I would say. Yet Javon Evans pick up the victory over Saquon Sugars. Javon's got this started right away, diving out onto him. Absolutely on fire this whole match. Sugars had a small period where he controlled the match, but instead of pinning Javon, he went for a high-risk move. He missed it. Osiris Griffin pulled him out of the ring to prevent the 3 count. Javon took Darkseid out. He ends up getting that victory regardless. Then to close out NXT, you had Chelsea Green and Ethan Page celebrating their AAA Mixed Tag Team Championship victory. They beat Mr. Iguana and La Hydra at the AAA event over the weekend. Ethan Page said that they'd become champions, and they did. And they'll defend the titles against anyone. Chelsea said that she wished that Joe was there. Ethan Page stopped her from saying his full name. And then she kept wanting to. And he's like, okay, say it. Figuring that he was inside the cake. He was ready to knock out whoever popped out of that cake. She says Joe Hendry. Hendry shows up on the stage. He wants a shot at the mixed tag titles. And then basically announces who his partner is. She pops out of the cake. It's Thea Hale. Dressed like Joe Hendry. She had a custom Joe Hendry theme song. I thought that was pretty cool. They end up pieing Ethan Page and Chelsea Green in the face. It sets up a match, I believe sets up the match for Madison Square Garden. Would have loved to have seen that match live. So I thought that was an unexpected ending to NXT. I like that. To end on a segment like that, I thought was very, very interesting. That's a big thing to me. So that is NXT. Moving over to SmackDown. It kicked off with Cody Rhodes, who blamed Drew McIntyre for bringing the championship in the ring at Saturday night's main event, causing Cody to use the championship. And he said he's moving on from Drew McIntyre. He wants to sit in the crowd to watch SmackDown with the fans to see who's next. But Aleister Black and Zelina Vega showed up. Zelina ends up slapping Cody Rhodes. Nick Aldis sets that match up. Well, the match being Aleister Black and Cody Rhodes, not Cody and Zelina Vega. But that's the main event. I'll put a pin in that. You had Ilya Dragunov pick up the victory over Johnny Gargano to retain the United States Championship. Tama Tonga got in Ilya's face before the match. The Way came out and Ciampa cut a promo. He got in the ring and Dragunov was like, I accept, but for him, meaning Johnny Gargano. These open challenges have been great. this was no different. Eventually, Candice LeRae got involved, which allowed for Johnny Gargano to get a little bit of offense in there. Dragunov hits the H-bomb in the end to get the victory. I was surprised that Ciampa ends up not coming back out to attack Dragunov. I thought for sure we would see that. But that didn't happen. They spoke backstage, DIY they did. And Axiom, Nathan Fraser, showed up, made fun of them. So I assume that's going to get set up for a match or something. You had Jade Cargill come out. I thought it was going to be like a championship celebration. This was just her, literally the quickest segment ever, just putting everybody on notice. I think her entrance was actually longer than the promo itself. But Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss came out afterwards for Charlotte's match. A little stare down between Charlotte and Jade Cargill. And then Charlotte kept going. She did her pyro and everything. She went to go back to Jade Cargill, but Alexa Bliss pulled her back towards the ring. Jade Cargill also got in the face of B-Fab later, which sets up a match for next week. So this is a completely different side of Jade Cargill. You had Nia Jax pick up the victory over Charlotte Flair. I think the match, it started fine. It was a bit messy. Kind of fell apart towards the end, but Lash Legend showed up. She knocked Alexa Bliss down and then choked her out. That led to Nia Jax getting the victory. And then Kathy Kelly interviewed Nia Jax afterwards. Nia Jax said that Charlotte told her she needed a friend, and she said she found a friend. She mentioned Lash Legend being from NXT when she was down in NXT a few weeks ago or whatever, months ago, I forget when it was. She found Lash Legend. Lash Legend introduced herself to the TV crowd. If you might not know her from NXT, I think this was the perfect debut, if you want to call it a debut. Later on, the champions were in the trainer's room, and Asuka showed up as a doctor, spit mist in both of their eyes. I popped big time for that segment. It was completely unexpected to me. So I thought that was great. We had 2 new matches announced for the Last Time Is Now tournament. Before Nick Aldis introduced the matches, R-Truth tried to get into the tournament, and Nick Aldis told him that his name was already one of the names as the choices. But I feel like if you faced John Cena on this tour already, you shouldn't be in it. But Nick Aldis announced that we'll have Miz versus Jey Uso and LA Knight versus a surprise opponent. I wonder who it's going to be. I'm going to say Jeff Hardy, though. I think that would be awesome. We saw Chelsea Green pick up the victory over Julia to become the new U.S. champion. Ethan Page sat ringside for this. Kiana James got involved. Alba Fire got involved. Julia took out Alba Fire. And then Chelsea Green rolled Julia up, used the ropes. We almost never see that work, so I wasn't expecting that to be the finish. And it was the finish. Chelsea Green, new champion. I thought Nick Aldis or somebody was going to come out, reverse the decision. I really, really wish Julia's reign was much better. I have no idea what they do with Julia after this. I like the pairing of her with Kiana James. I don't know. I'm pretty split here. I'm pretty torn because that reign for Julia was not the equivalent of what they had with the Intercontinental Championship. And I really think it should have been. Maybe it will now. Maybe we'll see more from Julia soon. I don't know. You had not the main event. Tala Tonga picked up the victory over Rey Fenix. Sami Zayn wanted to be ringside for this again. Nick Aldis said no, he's not medically cleared to chase off the MFT during this match. Right before it started, I should say. Motor City Machine Gun, Shinsuke Nakamura showed up, took them out. They ran off. Phoenix, I would say, controlled most of this match. But Tala Tonga needed this win. He went to get Rey Fenix up after the match for Solo to hit that Samoan spike on him. Sami Zayn ran down with a chair. And they took off. The main event, Aleister Black versus Cody Rhodes, ended in a no contest. It was nice to see this match again. I wish Aleister Black won, but Drew McIntyre showed up. He hit a huge claymore on the referee. Took the ref out. That attack continued. Cody Rhodes jumped in. Drew McIntyre had the upper hand. Damian Priest ran out. The four of them brawled. Zelina Vega got involved. But Cody came out on top. And Nick Aldis suspended Drew McIntyre. I don't know what's next for Drew McIntyre in I wouldn't say in a perfect world, but I think it'd be pretty cool if we end up seeing McIntyre versus Nick Aldis. I would still like to see Nick Aldis wrestle at least once. But that is SmackDown. Going to take a quick little break, and I'll be right back here on Markin Out.
Hello, wrestling fans. Yakko Warner here. I gotta tell you something. I am a wrestling fan too, and the only thing I ever listen to in the water tower is Markin Out.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Markin Out, episode 770. Moving back to AEW Collision from last week, it kicked off with the Don Callis family picking up the victory over Not the Acclaimed. This was the A-team, so they were obviously winning. The A-team of the Don Callis family, that being Takeshita and Okada. What I thought was interesting about this match was how long it went. They put a lot into this match. Both teams hate their partners, so all of that came into play. Anthony Bowens, I think, he shined the most here. He had the match won. Max Caster tagged himself in. And they start fighting with one another. Everything you could possibly do wrong as far as being a team, both sides did it. It was so brilliantly done. I saw people like, this match was terrible, blah, 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 they suck. Why is the Acclaim doing that, blah, blah. I thought this was brilliant. I thought this was one of the best matches in AEW that I've seen at least in 2025. Between Takeshita and Okada hating each other, between Max Caster and Anthony Bowens not wanting to be a tag team together, very, very well done. You had Mercedes Moné pick up the victory over Olympia to retain the championship. Like last week, they gave people zero reason to care about Olympia. Not a single video package to hype her up, nothing. Chris Statlander did commentary for the match. They did a good job at showcasing Olympia's strength in the actual match. I like that rebound tornado DDT that Mercedes Moné did. Later on, though, Mercedes threw Olympia into Chris Statlander. As soon as Mercedes won, Chris Statlander got into the ring. She ran off. Olympia was just the prop. This is like we may never see her again in AEW. Marina Shafir and Megan Bayne picked up the victory over Nixon Newell and Miranda Alizé. Like I said last week, it's great to see Nixon on TV again. It just sucks because you know she's not going to be in a winning position. Also, I think nothing says that you should care about what you're watching, like promoting an insurance company during their entrance. Why would I care about them if check out this insurance instead? Okay. Jon Moxley was on commentary, so there was a lot of heavy breathing. That was uncomfortable. Also, absolutely the worst officiating in this match. The referee couldn't be bothered to have the faces abide by the rules. But when Marina Shafir tagged in, he starts counting Megan Bayne to get out. I just thought overall this was a horribly put together match. It was very unfortunate. Still beyond stupid that Marina Shafir is in this tournament. She knocked out an official. There was no mention of that on that show. There was no mention of it on Dynamite this week. And then they announced the women's blood and guts match. You're going to have the Triangle of Madness teaming up with Mercedes Moné, Marina Shafir, and Megan Bayne, taking on Harley Cameron, Willow Nightingale, Jamie Hayter, Toni Storm, Chris Statlander, Queen Aminata at the time. I'll put a pin in that. But they just put all their women that they use on TV in the match, with the exception of Ty J. I think that was very lazy. They should have been building this up for literally months or weeks, whatever it was, since they announced it. It was start, stop, start, stop. Very lazily done. You had Commander and Mark Briscoe teaming up with Roderick Strong to take on and defeat LFI. Don't care about matches with LFI losing. There's no reason why LFI isn't a dominant faction on television weekly. You had the Bang Bang Gang pick up the victory over Maximum Male Models. This match, pretty quick. I need bigger wins for the Bang Bang Gang. The sell from Mansoor for the fold I thought was wild. But I just need more from the Bang Bang Gang right now. Main event saw Bandito pick up the victory over Mascara Dorado to retain. I don't need to tune into an AEW program to see an ROH title defended. I don't watch Ring of Honor. They don't put Ring of Honor into their TV product enough for me to want to see Ring of Honor matches on TV. I will say, I'll give them credit. The one thing that they did do, they put a video package. Bless them for putting a video package to explain their history together. And as you could expect with this match, it was very fast-paced. I liked that alley-oop spot from Bandito into the apron. The spot near the end that turned into a sunset flip was absolutely insane. Truly absolutely insane. I also liked how much Bandito, he did a lot to put over Dorada at the end. This is a good match, but like I said, I don't need to tune in to watch a Ring of Honor match. AEW Dynamite kicked off with Tony Schiavone in the ring. He announced that at Full Gear, AEW will debut the National Championship for some reason. They did this on Twitter, him and Tony Khan. And then they announced this, and then the ops interrupted. They went to, I guess, jump Tony Schiavone for what he did last week, which people are still putting over. I don't understand. Some people are still looking at that real picture of Tony Schiavone thinking that's Hangman, and I don't understand how dumb you could be and not realize that was Tony Schiavone, or once it switched, how dumb you could be to not realize that was Hangman Adam Page. But they go to jump him. Security ran down. Hangman ran down. Eddie Kingston and Hook ran out. And Hook told them to put the championships on the line in the main event, which they did. I'll put a pin in that. And then later on, they had Tony Schiavone re-announce this again. And they made it sound like this was the same exact title previously defended on TBS, which is a current NWA championship held by Mike Mondo. Tony Schiavone announced that Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin are in the Casino Gauntlet at Full Gear to get that championship. You had the Demand come out. MVP, though, literally named wrestlers who have held that NWA National Championship as if this is the same exact lineage. As if that the person who wins at Full Gear will be connected to Dusty Rhodes, will be connected to Wahoo McDaniels. That is not the case at all. And I feel like NWA and all the current superstars who work for NWA have every right to be pissed off that AEW is, they're pushing this as the national championship. The AEW National Championship, it hasn't been on TBS in 40 years. Champions like this, champions like that. That's telling me that that's the same lineage, and it's not at all. Completely different companies. NWA has the championship. Mike Mondo's the champion. That's very, very carny. That is extremely carny. But the Demand, like I said, Ricochet interrupted. He's walking out as champion according to him. You had Claudio pick up the victory over Orange Cassidy to gain the advantage, to maybe gain the Blood and Guts advantage. I didn't realize that it wasn't going to be just a one and done. It's a 3-match tier. if they go to sudden death, I'm over matches like this that they had between Claudio and Orange Cassidy in AEW. Later on, you had Darby Allin pick up the victory over Daniel Garcia to tie the advantage for the Blood and Guts gimmick. Pac got involved. Daniel Garcia was controlling a lot of this match, but you had to know that ending. Pac jumped Darby Allin afterwards. Orange Cassidy ran down to make the save. Wheeler Yuta jumped in. Jon Moxley came out. Kyle O'Reilly got taken out. Claudio attacked Kyle O'Reilly. Roderick Strong finally ran down and cleared house. 5-on-1. They all went running. Bit ridiculous. You had the Babes of Wrath pick up the victory over Athena and Mercedes Moné to advance in the tournament. I don't know how many people thought that we would see this outcome. I was 99% sure that we'd see Mercedes Moné and Athena move on to the finals. And I'm very glad that that didn't happen. I thought the 1% chance was that maybe we would see Athena somehow cost Mercedes the match. Ultimately, that's what happened. I'll put a pin in that real quick. But this was an enjoyable match. I wish that ending didn't have interference, but I liked the spot, the gory bomb spot from Athena to Mercedes onto Harley Cameron. I thought that was dope. But like I said, eventually you had Billy Starks run out. She grabbed that Ring of Honor championship. Chris Statlander ran down and took her out. And then Athena, she tried to use the Ring of Honor championship. The referee did nothing to stop her from using it or be distracted so she didn't see that she was using it. Willow ends up hitting the Doctor Bomb on Athena. Harley Cameron ends up hitting her finishing move on Athena. That is wild that it was Harley Cameron. Big win for them. Big time. Even bigger for Harley Cameron. You had an FTR promo. They called Brodito out. You cut to the backstage area. Malcolm Bivens, Stokely is back there, I guess like having the time of his life. Brodito is locked in a locker room. Stokely acted as if he had no idea how that happened. Bandito's family was ringside. Dax asked Bandito's grandmother for a kiss. I'm pretty sure she was the one that seemed like she was kind of feeling Okada the other week. Gravity ends up attacking them. I have no idea where the hell he went. He was in AEW. I don't know if he's still in AEW. It's been years since we've seen him. But they took him out. Brody King ends up punching his way through the door. I tweeted out, I was like, there's no way somebody like Brody King can't break through a door. So he ends up breaking through. They run down. FTR takes off running. After that, you had Megan Bayne pick up the victory over Mina Shirakawa to maybe gain the advantage in Blood and Guts. Tony Storm did absolutely insufferable commentary on this. I'm so over that gimmick. Queen Aminata was supposed to be in this match. Unfortunately, she's injured. She can't be in this match. She can't be in Blood and Guts. Mina Shirakawa replaced her. Being the replacement in this, I thought Mina Shirakawa had no shot. They made it look like she did, but she didn't. Marina Shafir showed up. She chokes out Tony Storm on commentary. That drew Mina Shirakawa's attention away for a moment. She was going to hit the glamorous driver. And then Megan Bayne hit the Liger bomb to pick up the victory over there, gain the maybe advantage. Marina Shafir, Megan Bayne continued the beatdown afterwards. Tony Storm made the save with a chair. You had Triangle of Madness run out. Willow Nightingale, Harley Cameron, Jamie Hayter all ran down. Mercedes shows up. She backed away, and then Chris Statlander ran down and took her out. They all brawled. The faces came out on top. We literally just saw this at the beginning of this episode. Near the beginning of the episode, I should say. With the men's Blood and Guts match. How much lazier can you get? And then the main event saw the Ops pick up the victory over Hangman, Eddie Kingston, and Hook to retain the Trios Championships. I don't need to see the world champion feuding for Trios Championships. And Powerhouse Hobbs ends up putting Hangman through a table off the stage. That sets up, I think, a Falls Count Anywhere match next week on Dynamite. You're having blood and guts. Why do you need a Falls Count Anywhere match? That's trash. That's AEW, though. Hey, Brennan. Got any shout-outs?
Hey, wow, this is Owen Wilson. You're listening to Brandon's Shoutouts.
Only Murders in the Building gets the first shout-out. The full season is out now on Hulu, and I really can't wait for that next season. They set up next season perfectly. The season finale, by the way, could have also been a series finale with what they did in it. But I'm very glad that we're getting another season. I think Martin Short, Steve Martin, and Selena Gomez are fantastic together. I can't say enough how good this show is. I still, after how many seasons it's been on, that you have not watched this.
Yeah, I actually did DVR the first season. It was on TV. I don't remember if I deleted it.
Don't you have access to Hulu?
I don't know.
I feel like you have that bundle.
I may have Hulu.
I feel like you have to if you have that Disney bundle.
Yeah, I may have Hulu.
You should check into that and then watch Only Murders in the Building.
I may have to. I don't know. Right now, I started watching Welcome to Derry, so I'm hooked on that for a little bit.
Name sounds familiar, but I don't.
It's the HBO, the new HBO It series.
Oh, It,
that
yeah,
just
the
came
clown.
Out. Yeah.
Won't be watching that.
Nah, don't
My
around with it.
Next shout out goes to Son of a Donkey, which is a new show on Netflix, but it features characters from a previous series from the creators, which I don't know about that show, nor have I seen it. But it was also a YouTube series, if I'm not mistaken, before that, all in Australia. But the only reason why this show is getting a shout out, and I mean this with no offense if somebody from Son of a Donkey seems to be listening to this somehow, the only reason why this is getting a shout out is because Zarya is on the show when she was Delta in Melbourne City Wrestling. They had it on in the background. One of the brothers has her match just while they're talking. The match is on in the background. It makes sense
funny.
that she would be featured because of it. Well, not that she specifically would be featured, but the wrestling company, because they were in Australia. But the show itself reminds me of Summer Heights High and like the Chris Lilly universe. But also,
tell me more. What is that from? Why do I know that?
It was it was also from, I think it was Australia or New Zealand, where Chris Lilly played a bunch of different characters. He played a chick. There was a rapper. There was
I feel like I saw some of those clips.
Jonah from Tonga. I'm pretty sure you had to have seen the show.
Yeah.
There were multiple series where he played, some of the characters were the same on the shows. But it reminds me of that, but it's also like nothing like that at the same time. I thought the show kind of I wrote dislike after I finished it on Netflix.
Ooh.
Something I rarely do. So, if you're a wrestling fan, look out for the Easter egg. Sorry for spoiling it. And I feel bad because he was on Monday Night Raw a few weeks ago, just in the crowd chilling. Seemed like maybe he was a fan, but maybe he wasn't. I don't know. If they have wrestling included, I'm sure he likes WWE, so. Check it out. Maybe you'll like it yourself. My last shout out. There is a brand new chapter or a season, I don't know what they call it, of Fortnite out. It's all Simpsons. It's literally a map of Springfield. It's all cel shaded, so it looks like you're in the actual show. And I think it's truly amazing. And as tiring as The Simpsons are in 2025, it's amazing. Even when you start on the map with the battle bus dropping you in, it's literally the intro to The Simpsons.
That's crazy. I keep on seeing and hearing such amazing things about this edition, too.
Yeah. It sucks that some of the characters are store-bought versus Battle Pass, where like you have to purchase the Battle Pass and unlock everything. I was able to complete that with Lego Fortnite, which is like super easy ways to gain points. But so in the battle pass, you get Homer, you get Marge, you get Flanders. Those are the main like Simpsons characters. And then the the outside of the battle pass, like the store, you have to buy Bart separately. I think Lisa will be coming soon separately. There's Itchy separately, and then Krusty separately also. So all that adds up. I'm not buying that. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So it sucks that I won't have those characters, but it's pretty cool. There's so many Easter eggs. So many Easter eggs. I would 100% recommend, if you haven't played Fortnite in years and you liked Fortnite at one point, I feel like you have to like The Simpsons. What kid didn't grow up watching that?
I want to watch some more clips of this and see how it goes.
I would say 100% check it out. And it's cool. I'll put a pin in that. But those are my shout outs. Now it's time for
Mark Out Moment of the Week.
That is right, our Mark Out Moment of the Week. I feel like I put a pin in that because it was starting to just cross over into a Mark Out Moment anyway. With The Simpsons being in Fortnite. But on that topic, they introduce sidekicks now. And there's a little dog Banana that comes in the battle pass. And I got it. I named it Bone Cold Steve Poston. But when I clicked OK, it asked me, are you sure this is what you want to name your pet? Because you can't change it apparently. I said yes, the Poston part cut off. So the dog's name is just Bone Cold Steve. But
okay,
it's still something. I feel like that's still Marky territory there.
Yeah, that's awesome. I dig it.
But they also give you Simpsons Lego stuff that you can get, that you could use in the Lego mode. So I think that's pretty cool. I'm like completely caught up. Like you have to play a separate mode from the Lego Odyssey that I already play. You have to play Brick Life and do complete quests in that too, to unlock like house parts and eventually the Simpsons house that you'll be able to build in Odyssey. So I think that's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
And
yeah,
it's true. Like I said before, it's amazing. It's so crazy to see this. They announced also that I think actually it started this week. They have Disney. It's not a map. There's not going to be maps or anything. To me, I haven't played it yet, but it sounds like it's going to be more like the Disneyland. I don't know if it was called Disneyland Adventure or whatever, where you walk around the kingdom, that being Disneyland, and you play like mini games. I guess Disney probably wouldn't want you walking around Disneyland or anything with weapons, so it makes sense that they're not doing that. But I think if they had like if they mapped out Magic Kingdom and you could travel, like the different part of the maps would be each like separate park or whatever, I think that'd be awesome. Yeah. So, but the cool. Simpsons, they should never get rid of this map. As soon as this chapter or whatever is over, just move it to a different section of the game.
Could they? Like, would they get rid of it?
Yeah, I think they can. They have earlier maps, but like lesser of them. Like it's like I think it's called Reload. So they have like classic versions where it is Battle Royale, same sort of thing, but they're smaller versions if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. I think it would be an absolute waste to get rid of this map.
Yeah, it's getting way too much good feedback to get rid of something like this, I feel.
I mean, there are people who were like, "Are you serious? This sucks." Blah blah blah. But I really can't. I don't see how you're complaining. It's great. Mm-hmm. Other mark out moments. Saturday night's main event. Didn't you mark out over Post Malone and Pauly Shore being there?
No, I actually marked out for Grayson Waller on CVV. I love listening to CVV and seeing Grayson Waller being a host, a guest there. I was like, all right, I got to listen to this. And I love listening to interviews where the people are heel characters, like Dirty Dom interviews and stuff like that. Because Grayson Waller goes like he's just such a jerk, and it's hilarious how he's speaking and everything like that. Like the mannerisms that he's talking about everybody. He's just such a great heel, and it's such an entertaining episode to listen to. Yeah, I definitely
that
marked
clip
up for
of him talking about CM Punk was hilarious.
Yeah, he's just bashing everybody.
I thought
Everybody.
I'd come here and he'd fight in the backstage or whatever he said,
Yeah.
something like that. I thought that was funny.
No, but it's awesome. So I definitely marked out for Grayson Waller on TV, and yeah, that was my mark out moment.
Well, I did mark out for Pauly Shore and Post Malone at Saturday night's main event. Pauly Shore was a very unexpected name. We've seen Post Malone recently, but
Yeah,
Pauly
random.
Shore, that was unexpected. Also, WWE Vault released unseen footage of John Cena this week, including Juan Cena in Mexico. So I was happy to see that footage. Definitely marked out over that. And he was featured in WWE 2K24. He hasn't been in 2K25 yet. I don't know how he's not in it, but it'd be cool if we got him again.
Huh.
Because I wasn't able, as soon as I was finished, as soon as I got the freaking card that I needed to unlock Juan Cena, they never brought back that live event again. And the only way to get him is if you buy him in the card store. Mm-hmm. So if I go back to my game, I build up 100,000 my faction points, I could finally get him, but
That sucks.
is it worth it going back to 2K24 to do that? I don't know. Maybe not.
That's tough.
But that is the mark out moment of the week, and that is episode 770. Thank you so much for checking it out. You can check us out on Twitter at Markin Out, at BTTG161 on all platforms, at Chris Sweendog, CM Sweeney85, David PTDPT, Facebook.com/Markin Out, YouTube and Instagram are Markin Out 11, ProWrestlingTees.com/Markin Out, at Markin Out on TikTok. You could rate, review, subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, iHeartRadio, YouTube, MarkinOut.com, and we wish you the best of luck to your future endeavors. Have a